Paraguay, located in the heart of South America, has been attracting a lot of attention lately as a very easy residency program with a straightforward path to permanent residency, a low tax or even zero tax environment, and a huge growing business hub with access to South American markets, a growing real estate sector, and just overall a lot of opportunity, crypto as well. Paraguay's residency program stands out due to its minimal bureaucratic requirements. There's no investment needed. All you need is a birth certificate and a police check, and you can come down to Paraguay and you can get residency. My Latin Life, we can handle your residency for you, but this video isn't really about the residency process. This video is about the 7 benefits of Paraguay residency. So let's start walking through these 7 benefits. Benefit number 1 is a very streamlined residency process. Okay, so the process for obtaining residency in Paraguay is considered among the simplest in the world. Applicants can achieve legal residency through a very quick process, only 2 days on the ground to apply, and it's very affordable as well. Once approved, residents have the option to convert to permanent residency after 2 years. And then after 3 years of permanent residency, you may pursue Paraguayan citizenship. Okay, so this pathway is notable for its accessibility compared to similar programs in different countries. You come down, you can apply for residency right away. It's going to get accepted in about 60 days. And then you'll be a temporary resident for 2 years. And then you can apply for permanent, and then permanent's for life. No one can take that away from you. And you can apply for citizenship after 3 years of permanent. So this is among the most chill, simplest processes in all the world for residency. Okay, so one of the benefits of residency is just the fact of how easy it is. Now, benefit number 2 of Paraguay residency is the territorial tax system. So Paraguay operates on a territorial tax system, which means residents are only taxed on income earned within Paraguay. Foreign income, such as earnings from international freelance work or business ventures abroad, is not subject to Paraguayan taxes. Additionally, residency in Paraguay does not impose strict physical presence requirements, allowing residents the flexibility to maintain residency status while spending significant time outside the country. This tax structure is advantageous for digital nomads, entrepreneurs, remote workers, expats seeking low taxation on international income. Now, there are a lot of countries, especially in Latin America, with territorial tax systems, the Panamas and Costa Ricas of the world. But the benefit of Paraguay territorial taxation specifically is that it's very easy to get a tax ID, and then it's also very easy to become a tax resident and get a tax residence certificate. Again, My Latin Life, we can help you get these documents if you want. There'll be a link in the description to order the residency or to book a call with us, and we can put you on a path to all this stuff. But long story short, among the territorial tax countries, Paraguay is one of the easiest to sort of get set up, and therefore one of the easiest to allow you to leave your high tax country. Maybe you're from Canada or Europe or Australia, and Paraguay is going to be one of your best, easiest options to sort of get set up, get residency, become a tax resident, and therefore be able to leave your high tax country. Okay? Number 3 is a low cost of living. The cost of living in Paraguay is among the lowest in South America. Major living expenses such as housing, food, and utilities are substantially lower compared to North America and Europe. For example, modern apartments in the capital city Asunción can be rented for a fraction of the cost compared to, comparable properties in other cities. You can get a really nice apartment, really nice building, gym and a rooftop pool and all that good stuff, like super high end, for well under $1,000, less than $700 even, fully furnished. And if you're down to furnish it and get a 12-month lease, it can go down to $400 a month for still a really modern, nice place. Okay. Obviously, people quibble about the numbers, but very, very cheap rent, very cheap food, very cheap utilities. And this cost efficiency extends to all other sectors, including healthcare, transportation, Uber, allowing residents to enjoy a high standard of living with minimal expenses. Seriously, in Latin America is already cheap, and Paraguay is one of the cheapest cities in Latin America, or Asunción rather. Number 4 is going to be business opportunities and Mercosur access. So Paraguay's economy is steadily growing, supported by rich natural resources, agriculture, energy, manufacturing. The country has a relatively low corporate tax rate as well at 10%, which incentivizes business activities and investments. Residents can also start business, invest, or partner with local companies, granting access to lucrative markets. You know, there are countries where residents don't get a work permit or they can't own businesses. And in Paraguay, these things are much more open. Obviously, there are a couple of steps involved still, but it's a lot easier to do business locally in Paraguay than it is in other countries, even as a resident. Additionally, Paraguay's Mercosur membership facilitates trade and mobility within member countries like Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Bolivia, expanding market access for Paraguayan businesses and residents. So if you were to set up a business here because you wanted to do business locally, you're really sort of plugged into the whole Mercosur, and you're not just limited to doing business within Paraguay. And if you want to know more about the Mercosur, I have a dedicated video that explains what the Mercosur is, and you can find that on the My Latin Life channel. Okay, benefit number 5 is the safe environment and supportive community. Paraguay is recognized as one of the safer countries in South America, with a reputation for its friendly and welcoming culture. Asunción, the capital, has a growing expat community, and the overall lifestyle is characterized by a warm climate, accessible amenities, and a laid-back atmosphere conducive to easy adaptation for new residents. Honestly, I know Paraguay probably sounds like a country that is going to be hard to adapt to, but when you come into Asunción, you come into the nicer neighborhoods near the malls, it's an easy adaptation period because there's high-end restaurants, modern buildings, your gym is nice, you got Uber. So it's honestly pretty beginner-friendly. And then overall, it's a very safe country as well. And people from Paraguay, Paraguayans, are considered some of the friendliest people in the world and the friendliest in Latin America. Like you could probably say the top 3 friendliest countries in Latin America are Mexico, Brazil, and Paraguay. You can debate the order, but those are probably the friendliest 3. Okay, moving on to benefit number 6, freedom of movement in Mercosur countries. So this is something that's, there's a bit of a misconception here. The freedom of movement in its fullest extent extends to citizens of Mercosur, okay? Where, and I'll give you an example. So I had a buddy in Paraguay, and he was from Kazakhstan or Mongolia, something like that, and he was a software developer. And with his passport, he had visa-free to Paraguay, and he had visa-free to Uruguay, but he didn't have visa-free to Argentina. And he bought a car in Paraguay, and he wanted to drive his car down to Uruguay. He wanted kind of to do a whole rip. But when he got to the border with Argentina, he thought he'd be able to get in with just his Paraguayan cedula. And the Paraguayan cedula says on it your country of birth. But they stopped him at the border and they said, well, where's your visa? And he said, no, I have the cedula. But the cedula or the residency in and of itself doesn't grant more freedom of movement. Like he still needed a passport as his travel document in order to enter Argentina. But there's sort of so just to be clear, just because you get a Paraguayan residency in cedula does not grant you access to Argentina and Brazil and all the other countries if you don't have visa-free there with your passport, okay? But it does have a subtle benefit where sometimes you can travel with just your cedula without your passport. Okay, it's a little bit of a case-by-case basis, but say you were from Canada or the US, countries that have visa-free to the other Mercosur countries, they will often allow you to pass with just your cedula and without a passport. And then there's also the benefit of how Paraguay has a very open border with Brazil through Ciudad del Este and really a lot of the border touch points there. And so you can sort of spend a lot of time in Brazil without formally entering Brazil. And there's kind of like a whole weird thing going on at the border there, specifically with Brazil. The other borders of Paraguay are a little bit more enforced, but the Brazil border is very open. So if for some reason you wanted to live in Brazil, you could live in Foz do Iguaçu or some of the border cities in Brazil, basically no problem. You're not really supposed to go into the interior of Brazil. You're supposed to stay within, I think it's like a 50-kilometer radius of the border. But if you wanted to just simply be in Brazil because maybe you had a Brazilian girlfriend or something like that, you know, she could come and live with you in Foz. Something like that. Okay? And then moving on to the seventh and final benefit is a path to permanent residency and dual citizenship. So as I mentioned, after 3 years of permanent residency, residents may apply for Paraguayan citizenship. Paraguay permits dual citizenship with Spain and with Italy. And those are the ones where there's official treaties. But the Paraguay citizenship process, like the renunciation thing, is really more of just a formality. Okay? This is obviously subject to change 5 years from now. You know, who knows what things are going to look like if you just start the process now. But we see a lot of people naturalizing as Paraguayan citizens from whatever, from, you know, Canada or the Ukraine or any number of countries, and they don't really have to renounce their previous nationality. Okay, it's really just a formality, like a ceremonial thing, and you don't have to like go out and get some official proof that you truly renounced. Does that make sense? So you can get Paraguayan citizenship, and a Paraguayan passport offers visa-free and visa on arrival to tons of countries, which will be a huge beneficial option for your global mobility. And it'll also give you more access to South America because of the Mercosur, which we talked about a little bit, where you'll have maybe residency rights in other countries, you'll have more visa-free access, you'll have more ability to maybe invest or buy property in other countries. So the Paraguay citizenship is going to open up a lot of doors, and we could probably do a whole dedicated video on the benefits of Paraguay citizenship specifically. This video is more about the benefits of residency, but residency will put you on the path to citizenship. Every single type of residency will eventually put you on the path to citizenship, which is not the case in every country. And Paraguay citizenship is attainable. A lot of people say that it's not, or, you know, you got to pay huge bribes or any, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on about Paraguay citizenship, a lot of speculation. I can tell you that Paraguay citizenship is attainable, and they are naturalizing people. There's specific guidelines about time in country and other things you can do to sort of increase your ties to Paraguay. And if you have questions about this, you can book a call with us. There'll be a link in the description below about specifically how we can put you on a path to Paraguay citizenship. Or, of course, if you're good with just residency and permanent residency, we can talk about that as well and put you on a path to residency very quickly. We've processed at My Latin Life dozens of Paraguay residencies at this point. In summary, Paraguay offers a practical residency program with minimal entry requirements, a territorial tax system, low cost of living, and an accommodating business environment. The residency also provides potential for citizenship and free movement within Mercosur countries, making Paraguay an appealing option for individuals seeking residency in South America. Now, if citizenship is your number one concern, if you want a passport in your hands as quickly as possible, I would recommend Argentina instead, where you can get citizenship in 2 years. And you can search Argentina on the My Latin Life channel. We've done a whole bunch of videos on Argentina. We also help with Argentina residency, Brazil residency, Uruguay residency, Chile residency. My Latin Life, we do residency for every country in Latin America. If you want citizenship, you'll find a faster path to citizenship in other countries like Argentina, Peru, and a few others. If you want residency, if you want a tax residency, if you want to leave your high tax country and you need to get another residency in order to leave your high tax country, Paraguay is the most common option we recommend to people. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, but Paraguay is the best for most people when it comes to getting a low tax residency, so a territorial tax residency, so that they can eventually get to ideally a zero tax situation in life with their business. Cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment as well, and hit us up if you have any questions or you want to become our client. And we'll see you in the next video.